Some unaccompanied migrant children could move into the San Diego Convention Center this weekend. How the center will be used while the children are processed. Many spring breaks were derailed by the pandemic last year, but it's a different situation this year. The excitement from local businesses and caution from city leaders. Plus, a local music studio has been helping students succeed for years. Coming up, how it was able to adapt for the pandemic to keep services alive.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
There are now about 17,000 migrant children in federal custody. And as that number grows, the San Diego Convention Center is about to house some of them. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt. Steve has the night off. In all, more than 1,000 migrant children are expected to stay at the convention center. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala shows us the timeline and where the children will go from here.
The San Diego Convention Center will initially be able to accommodate up to 1,400 unaccompanied migrant children. On Friday, a spokesperson for Supervisor Nathan Fletcher's office said some are expected to start arriving as soon as this weekend. This comes as Customs and Border Protection has been dealing with overcrowding at facilities as more migrants arrive in Texas. Many children have been kept in detention centers longer than legally allowed. Thursday, President Joe Biden, who has been criticized for his handling of the situation at the border, said this.
What we're doing now is attempting to rebuild the system that can accommodate what is happening today.
According to a spokesperson for the Office of Refugee Resettlement, or ORR, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, with the help of FEMA, selected San Diego's Convention Center as an emergency intake site for these children. Earlier this week, Supervisor Nathan Fletcher said he and Mayor Todd Gloria got the call to help on Saturday morning.
And we have told the federal government we have until about July 1st where this will be available. There's no conventions or meetings scheduled.
The ORR says this temporary site will provide sleeping quarters, meals, toiletries, laundry, access to medical services, and COVID-19 health screening. They say the children will be held here so they can be safely processed, cared for, and then released to a sponsor or transferred to an ORR shelter for longer-term care. Services will be provided through a combination of contractors and federal teams.
I've been told that 90% of these children, again, have a family member or sponsor here in the United States.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
All homeless San Diegans that were staying at the convention center have now moved out, and those moves were scheduled before plans for the migrant children were announced. Meantime, a congressional delegation toured a Health and Human Services facility holding unaccompanied children. Representative Joaquin Castro and 6 other Democrats visited the center in Carrizo Springs, Texas. Castro says their goal was to provide oversight and figure out a way to make the situation better.
That even these facilities that have better conditions than the CBP processing centers are not the places for kids. That kids should be moved quickly along to their family sponsors.
Republicans also toured part of the border in Texas last night. Senator Ted Cruz said border agents are demoralized by a cycle of people being caught on the border and then released only to do it again. There was a slight uptick in the number of new local COVID cases today. The county says about 400 more people have tested positive, and more than 269,000 San Diegans have had the virus since the pandemic began. The county also says 5 more people have died. As our numbers slowly improve to our north, Orange County is about to enter the orange tier. As of today, the county's adjusted case rate per 100,000 is just above 3. That's good enough for the orange tier. Its testing positivity is less than 2%, which is good for the yellow tier. If these numbers hold or even improve, the county will move into the orange tier next week. And after the pandemic scrapped many plans last year, spring break trips have returned. It's a time when the local economy usually sees a major boost thanks to visitors. ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti went to Pacific Beach, where business owners are hoping to capitalize on good weather and eased restrictions.
With schools on spring break and red tier, meaning some businesses are back open inside, and gorgeous weather, this is a perfect recipe for businesses along the beach. The feeling in Pacific Beach is almost normal.
Spring break, yeah.
Visitors are returning after a year away.
Happy to be back.
And that is helping beach businesses.
Very, 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 very popular. We're having trouble keeping them in stock in the afternoons with those.
Monty Blair with Mission Beach Rentals says 1 year ago it was a different story.
It was a little rough when the beach and the parking lot was closed, so we did close down for a little while, obviously because nobody was around.
The past year wasn't all terrible though.
As things started transitioning and lifting and stuff like that, we actually went right back to being super busy because everybody was encouraged to be outside more, so we have all the stuff for it.
Perks during the shutdown, but Monty says with reopening of indoor dining and businesses, they saw another lull.
On St. Patrick's Day, when they started allowing indoor dining, we were dead. And we've been busy for months and months and months, but the day it opened, we were like completely dead that day.
So now the spring break visitors with the perfect weather is helping this business bounce back quickly.
Actually, it's one of the better spring breaks we've ever had. A lot of people coming to town. Like I said, last week, Arizona, it was packed down here. It was almost summertime busyness down here with all the people.
Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria and local educational leaders are urging students and parents to stop the surge over spring break. City leaders are cautioning students and others to avoid large gatherings like the ones occurring in Miami Beach over spring break. Unruly crowds there have forced curfews and clashes with police. Here, Mayor Gloria said he doesn't want to lose ground in the effort to get children back into school. And you can keep up with the latest coronavirus developments from reopening tiers to vaccines with the ABC 10 News app. You can find it for free in the App Store. The U.S. Marshals arrested a convicted murderer who ran off from Canada at UCSD Hillcrest today. 42-year-old Roderick Muchikawantepe was up for parole and ran away after he was temporarily moved to a minimum security area prison. He is serving time for the murder of a mother of three in 1998. He is expected to be extradited back to Canada. And the Marines have finished their investigation into the deadly training accident off San Clemente Island last year. In July of this year, 8 Marines and a sailor died after their amphibious assault vehicle sank. In their findings, the Marines said the accident happened because of combined human and mechanical failures. The investigation determined maintenance procedures were not followed and personnel were improperly trained on AAV safety procedures. A North Park woman says her dad leapt into action after thieves stole the catalytic converter from her car. This happened off 30th Street early yesterday morning. Carna Diaz says that her dad was in the living room when he heard the drilling sound outside, and that's when he ran outside. The thieves already had the catalytic converter and got away in another car. Diaz's dad got in his truck and followed.
Followed them a couple blocks down and tried to retrieve that license plate, but again, they were going so fast through the neighborhood that he couldn't get a clear view.
Diaz's insurance will not cover the theft. It will cost $2,000 out of pocket to repair. In San Diego, between July and December, nearly 250 catalytic converters were stolen. That's an increase of more than 600% from the first part of the year. Thieves want them because the metal inside is valuable. Slick roads were to blame for a deadly crash around midnight this morning. Police say the driver of this car died when they lost control on the ramp from the 8 to southbound 5. Just after midnight, officers say the car flew off the road and wrapped around a bridge column. Crews on the scene had to use the jaws of life to pull the 2 people out of the car. The passenger was taken to a hospital. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The Dehesa Elementary School District has overhauled its charter oversight proceedings, this all following a settlement in federal court. Well, the district was supposed to give detailed oversight over chartered schools in order to make sure that students got the maximum funding available. San Diego County District Attorney Summer Steffen says they collected the oversight fees, but they didn't do the work. Going forward, Dehesa says it will only charge for the oversight it provides. Californians without access to hefty sums of cash will no longer need to wait for their court dates in jail. In a unanimous ruling, the state Supreme Court determined that bail cannot be based solely on finances. The justices ruled that in most cases, courts must consider a suspect's income and their ability to pay when setting bail. Low-income defendants must be freed while awaiting trial unless they're deemed too dangerous to be released.
It's not right that rich people can pay to get out of jail and poor people can't. Bail has to have consequences, meaning that, we don't want to have somebody with a very heinous crime say, I can only afford $500. Is that $500 going to be enough to make sure that they go to court? And that's what the whole purpose of court is public safety, and will they appear in court? The problem we have with bail, sometimes it's meant to be used to be punitive, and we don't want that. That's not what bail is for.
The court's ruling still allows for cash bail as long as defendants can afford it.